Hey guys, Daniel Gorley here with Worship Probs, and I'm joined with my friend, Mr. Brian Tabor.
What is up?
What is up? Brian, we are here for another episode of Worship Karaoke. And Brian, we got an amazing guest today.
Yes, we do.
Amazing.
Yes, we do.
This guest has come from far away to visit us. Flew in just for this. That is the level we are at. We have arrived, Brian.
Right.
Yes, and speaking of who has arrived, our sponsors are the ones that make this possible for Worship Karaoke to exist. So, Brian, we're going to do a little bit of word about our sponsors today. Hey guys, this episode of Worship Karaoke is sponsored by the amazing guys at Allen Heath. Allen Heath is makers of some of the best digital audio consoles in the entire world, and that includes their new Avantis. They have both the Avantis Duo and the Avantis Solo. They are amazing consoles. They are 64 by 42 consoles, meaning you have 64 inputs, 42 outputs, and those consoles can connect to their I/O everything, all of their snake boxes, all of their different output boxes and devices. And also one of the great things about Allen Heath is that you can interconnect all of their audio consoles, from their SQ series to the Avantis to even their flagship D-Live console system. So if you're looking for an amazing audio console, hit up the team at Allen Heath. Check out their Avantis Solo and their Avantis Duo consoles today. You can check out the link in our bio for more details. Hey guys, this episode's also sponsored by the amazing team at Church Visuals. These guys are awesome. As a ministry leader, you want to save tons of time and look amazing at the same time, but it's about more than that when it comes to connecting graphics and video. It's about visually communicating that lives are changed. Visuals are tools to see salvation and spiritual growth at your church, and that's what the team at Church Visuals is all about. Their work has impacted the entire world. They work with some of the largest brands in ministry, from Outreach to Awana to Answers and Genesis, Tithely, and many, many more. Their massive ready-made library of 40,000 plus ready-made visuals is available to you, and you can pull them in instantly. You can't even get a part-time employee for the cost of $299 a month, but they do it for you, and they're amazing. These guys nail it. Churchvisuals.com is their website, so go check them out. Church Visuals is the best. Guys, this is it. This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Brian, are you ready to introduce our guest? So who are we meeting with today, Brian?
I'm ready. So we have a lady today who is... She's talented. She's an incredible leader.
Oh, yes.
She's a businesswoman.
And she's the nicest person.
She's like the nicest person you will ever meet.
Oh, yeah. So we're excited.
Yes,
and here is Andrea Olson.
Andrea Olson.
Hey, guys.
Hi, Andrea. Imagine meeting you here.
All the way from the land of 10,000 lakes.
That's right.
10,000 lakes. Have you counted them all?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
I have not. But there are a lot of them. They're everywhere.
Is that really the saying for Minnesota? It's 10,000 lakes?
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I feel like that's something that should go on a license plate or a bumper sticker.
Probably
Yes.
is.
It is on our license plates.
Right.
Okay.
Actually.
See?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, Andrea, we're excited to have you on, and this is you've flown here to visit us, which is just like incredible that you would actually care enough to show up. Well, sometimes we invite people and they can't even cross the street. So no, this is pretty awesome. So
well, and if you're watching, you will know Andrea. She's been on the podcast a couple of times. We partnered with Overflow Worship, which is her organization. We partnered with them on the Worship Leaders Startup Toolkit.
Yes.
Which is a resource for new worship leaders. It meant to kind of give them a jump start.
Yeah.
And Brian, is that where you're just dropping like haymakers of wisdom?
Yes.
So what I told some jokes, and I left all the haymakers to Andrea.
Oh, okay.
She is more than capable of doing that on her own.
All right. But you softened them up.
I put a Facebook post out today that we were doing this, and somebody goes, Andrea Olson, yes.
Oh.
And I'm like,
nice.
Yep, it's happening, man. So thank you so much for doing this. We absolutely, we love your heart, and we love the heart of what you're doing. So can you tell us a little bit about your story? I mean, you've probably shared this on the podcast, but for the karaoke listeners, tell us a little bit about who is Andrea Olson.
Who is Andrea Olson?
Behind the mic.
Behind
Andrea
the
Olson.
mic.
Well, BTS.
That's
yes. Okay, well, my husband's name is Gabe. We have 3 girls, and we are loving this season of life with our girls. And, as a worship leader, I grew up in the church in worship. My parents were worship leaders, and so it just kind of was in me, in my heart, in my blood. But when I started leading worship, my husband was the youth pastor at our church. We had just gotten married, and they needed somebody. It was basically like, you're married to him, so
You're the one.
so get on up there.
Yes.
And I haven't ever articulated it this way in the past, but more recently, it's like I thought that I was ready because I went to college for music.
Oh, wow.
Like I studied piano performance at a conservatory, and I just thought like I can do this, but I was not prepared for life in local church ministry. And so I started, having to create my own resources and create my own systems and tools for building the team and stuff like that.
That guy was angry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
he was a little bit angry.
A little bit angry, so.
Yeah.
Was
Did
he
you
angry
cut him
at us?
off?
I don't know. I'm just driving. The Lord is leading, and we are good.
God.
Oh, goodness.
So as I was creating those systems and recruiting, team members and training team members, other churches started to get wind that like I was training the youth kids and teaching them how to play keys or teaching them how to sing parts or whatever. And I felt like I'm just being faithful with what has been set in front of me. I was teaching full time in my own private lesson studio at that point.
Okay.
So I didn't, I just was like, I can do this, I can volunteer my time and do this, but what I didn't know was that the Lord was slowly building something, what is now Overflow Worship. So in 2014, I had been training several different leaders and churches and partnering with a lot of different organizations, and I felt the Lord put it on my heart to have a conference, to which I said, no, but okay.
Right.
Like, I don't know how to do this.
You were like, how hard could this be?
Right?
No. Well, I was like, I think I can do this. I'm a pretty organized person, but I have no idea, how to put on an event. And so I pulled together all the people I knew and called all the churches that I had worked with, and we had a radio station in Minnesota say like, we love what you're doing, we'd love to promote you guys for free.
Oh, wow.
Which is wild.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's, which is amazing. And Mark Harris from Gateway was a friend, and he was like, I'll come up for like virtually nothing, and I'll help you, and so the first Overflow Worship Conference happened 10 years ago, 2014.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
And after that, I walked away from that first event and sat at dinner after seeing like these leaders come with their teams and be encouraged and like fellowship together. And I was like, well, that was not the last one. Like, this is what I was made to do.
That's awesome.
So.
Well, guys, listen, this talking's great, but this is Worship Karaoke.
Right.
Yes.
So this is about music.
Yes.
This is about the amazing worship songs that, have touched us in different ways. So, as you guys know, on Worship Karaoke, we pick 2 songs, and you have picked 2 songs, but you have no idea what we've picked.
Yeah.
Right.
So, do you think that Brian has been nice to you?
Probably.
Because he's in charge.
I'm not
of it.
nice to everybody, but
Okay.
Andrea
All right.
is sort of in a different.
Okay, so he has been very nice to you. So we're
Okay.
going to play the first of one of our 2 tunes,
Okay.
and we'll see if we did okay.
Jesus, my Redeemer, name above all names, precious Lamb of God, Messiah, for sinners slain. Thank you, oh my Father, for giving us your Son and leaving your Spirit till the work on earth is done. When
It's amazing that you can hear songs. I mean, how long is this is like 20, 30 years, like probably easily since I've heard this song. The fact that you can hear something and it takes you back, like you said, living room
Yeah.
with your parents,
Yep.
kind of a thing. Yeah.
Keith Green, if that's new to you, watchers and listeners, you need Keith Green in your life.
Oh, man.
There is a Redeemer. What an unbelievable lyric, man. I remember the first time I heard that, just had a hard time composing myself. Having a hard time today as well. What a great song.
Yeah. Wow. Powerful lyrics. And
So you mentioned your parents and listening to worship music at home. Like, were they a big influence on you as you were kind of growing up into what obviously you're a mom and you have a family and you're raising your kiddos, and is that like kind of where the heritage of worship kind of started? Or?
Yeah, it is. My mom's mom is an amazing piano player.
Okay.
And was like the church organist, and she's one of those play any song in any key at any given time.
Yes.
You just kind of are like,
And it makes you sick, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They're
You're
that
like,
good.
how about great is thy faithfulness? And she's like, la 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 la, and she goes. But then, my mom and dad were actually they were the worship leaders in our church, in our Baptist church growing up, and they were a part of like ushering contemporary or music into the church, and I watched them pioneer that movement. And for them it was more about like teaching people what worship is. So it wasn't necessarily, we have to do these songs, and isn't the same conversation we're having today in churches? It's not about like this is bad and this is good. It's more like the heart behind it and being open to
Well, and it's funny that you mentioned that. So I grew up in Southern Baptist Church. My parents were both music pastors or music ministers, is what we called them back then. And it was choruses, Brian, right? It wasn't worship music or whatever you call them, choruses.
We bring the sacrifice.
And so I remember the conversation, but it was like, well, the hymns are things that I am comfortable with. And even today, it's like, well, I'm comfortable with, didn't we be talking about it? Shane and Shane released an album called Vintage, where all the songs we grew up loving in worship are all now vintage.
They're vintage.
They're vintage. But we even have that same conversation. It's like, I'm comfortable with these songs that I've been singing for a decade that aren't hymns, but now you want to introduce a new worship experience. So
So Overflow Worship is an online community. Tell us a little bit more about that and what you're doing.
Yeah. Our goal is to support new or newly positioned worship leaders. So those people who are, in their first year or couple of years in a position, and specifically in smaller and medium-sized churches. And so helping them with the tools and the resources that they need. A lot of the feedback that we get from people, and you kind of alluded to it, Brian, that it's tailored for large churches or churches with multiple campuses, and that is not a bad thing at all because it's needed, but at the same time it's not always as helpful for people who are at, they're like, I got 5 people on my worship team and we all play every single week. And so we're just looking to like become the best that we can and get some tools to streamline some things. And so that's what we do. We train, and our online program is what I call a guided mentorship program. So we have lots of on-demand training and courses and all of that, but it's really about the community and the fact that we come alongside of them and say like, hey, what are you facing?
That's awesome.
Let's figure out a way to help, walk with you through that.
That's really cool. All right, so Brian, you picked a song. And it was a throwback. Like deep cut.
That was a deep
very, very, you've aged yourself, sir. And that's okay. That's fine. We're here for it. Now, Andrea, we're going to play the first song that you picked. Okay. And I'm thinking it's a good song. I love this song personally.
I love this song so much.
Like, this is one of those desert island worship tunes.
It is.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It is.
So, excellent choice. We'll rock it out here.
And
Draw me close to you. Never let me go. I lay it all down again to hear you say that I'm your friend.
messed it up. I always mess the words up, Brian.
You're just waiting for the chorus. Because the chorus is just
He's
like,
all I need,
so
guys.
Cause nothing else can take your place. To feel the warmth of your embrace.
Here it comes.
There we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Help me find a way. Bring me back to you. You're all I want. You're all I've ever needed. You're all I want. Help me know you are near.
These songs are making me weepy.
I know.
Some of my favorite memories are like just being posted up in the living room with like a friend with a guitar or a piano
Yeah.
and just singing
Yeah.
this with like a small group,
Yeah.
like
Yes.
over and over and
Yes.
over. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
excellent choice.
One of my favorite. So if you are familiar with Bill Gaither, he has a million one-liners, and one of my favorites is, we don't sing these songs just because they're old. We sing them because they survived. And
Okay.
songs like this, my goodness, man.
Yeah.
If these songs are new to you, gosh, go dig into these
Oh,
because your congregations are going to know them. And
Well, and even if you're doing like a newer, like contemporary song or whatnot, folding one of these in at the
Yeah.
end of a, like, if you're just looking for something that's going to take that worship
Yeah.
to the next level, I
Yeah.
guarantee Brian's right. Everybody knows this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
song. Knows
Yes.
the lyrics,
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Our church did Shout to the Lord the other
Oh,
day.
come
Oh.
And
All right,
like,
Darlene.
oh man.
Did you use the key change?
No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
did not
All
use
right. Well,
it.
that's great.
I know. I was like, are they gonna? Are they
I
gonna?
miss
Are they
it so
yeah,
much.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, and my daughter was like, "This song is really high."
You're like, you have no idea. There's a whole nother key.
There's
that
a
we can
whole
hit
nother
this.
key.
Right, there's another gear for this.
All right. Well, we're going to shift this into another gear. So if you watched the show before, we have a segment called "What's in the Glove Box."
Okay.
All right. So I can promise you that in the glove box there is something. Brian, what is it? It's not alive.
It's not alive. It hasn't ever been alive.
It has never been
Oh,
alive.
good. Okay.
So that's
You
good.
don't
So
have
it's
to
not,
eat it.
Okay.
there's no food item.
This is not summer camp.
No,
I
exactly
didn't
not.
do those
Exactly.
games.
What
Yeah,
was
I mean,
that old TV show Fear Factor? There's nothing like that
Perfect.
that's on it. So,
Okay.
But this is a gift to you, and I'm excited for. I've been told about your piano ability,
Oh,
but
no.
I've also been told that that extends to other instruments.
Oh no.
So why don't you go ahead
Okay.
and pop that and receive your prize. So there's a couple in there because Brian really likes to help participate.
Okay.
So the kazoo is
Gosh,
for
you did
Brian.
it.
Oh.
The
You
kazoo
did
is for
not
Brian.
kazoo
Brian
me
gets
again.
redemption because
Redemption?
he
Oh, no.
did not know. So
I
Brian
didn't
was
know how to play the kazoo.
Brian was a trumpet
before.
player.
Yeah.
and he tried to play it like a trumpet, and it didn't go well.
Oh yeah.
And
kazoos are tricky.
You
A
kinda
little
have to
bit.
hum, don't
is it
You have
really?
to hum,
I
yeah.
feel like it's like a grade school instrument.
You know what else? I feel like recorders. Oof.
Yeah.
Did you guys play recorders in
Oh
elementary
yeah,
school?
we had
Yes.
that like in music class for a semester, and
I saw a meme that was like, I can't tell you how many conversations I've been able to, like get through by just taking out my recorder and playing a rendition of Hot Cross Buns.
You're not kidding.
Conflict resolution.
it's really taught me.
Yep.
My grade school has really helped me out in this moment.
So in my city, okay, the recorder, the rite of passage was every elementary student in the city
oh,
at like,
Wow.
I don't know, man, maybe 6 or 7, 8 elementary
Okay,
schools.
yeah.
They all studied recorder and they all had to learn It's a Small World.
It's a
from
Small
Disney
World. All right.
And so we play, and can you imagine
Did you play
how
it all?
sick the parents were
oh yeah,
of
I
It's a
bet.
Small World?
Because
And
that
then
song
we-
never ends.
Right, and we
Like-
played it in mass, like at a big event. You know?
Oh.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
Well, this is going to be better than that.
Okay.
I'm super excited.
Okay.
So, do you have, this is a glockenspiel. Do you have a glockenspiel in your studio?
Well, I used to, because I used to teach kinder music.
Okay,
All
so
right,
you're all
but-
over this.
Well,
This
I
is
don't
good.
know.
My favorite's the yellow bar. I don't know why, but it just
Yes.
is very
Which
happy.
part do I
You blow out of the bigger part, I believe.
like this or like
know.
this?
The bigger side, yeah.
Bigger
and
side.
hum.
This.
And you
Like,
hum.
hum.
That's
There
yay!
you go.
That's what you messed up.
Alright.
You tried to blow it like
I
a
did try
trumpet.
to play it like a trumpet.
And that was so adorable. It was
And
amazing.
I think Kim was in here, and she had one. And
She got it.
She took off like a freight
She
train.
did.
I'm back here.
Yeah,
I'm the duller.
you
back
struggled.
here trying to.
All right,
I'm
well,
struggling with the.
The best part is this is going to be over your second song choice.
Oh,
so I don't know
perfect.
what we picked.
Oh,
and
my.
I'm hoping it's going to be compatible. It's upbeat.
Yes! Sonic Flood.
Sonic Flood. This is all right. Well, here we go. In the secret. Is that where we're at? Oh, here we go. Oh, the drum beat.
Yes.
In the secret, in the quiet place.
Oh, I forgot this song.
It's not so quiet here.
Oh, man.
In the secret, in the quiet hour waits
Only for you to play the glockenspiel.
to know you more.
Here we go.
I want to know you. I want to hear your voice. I want to know you more.
More, Brian, more.
More kazoo! You will never hear that.
want to see you. More kazoo.
More kazoo! Glockenspiel, please! In my monitor!
Think of the planning center invite that you get. It's like, all right, hey, Miss Olson, you have been selected to play the glockenspiel on Sunday, June 14th.
I would be
Can you
like,
imagine?
yes!
Brian, you are first kazoo.
First kazoo.
First kazoo, because normally we have second and third kazoos.
So my last church, we had a senior high youth pastor who always wanted to play on the team, but he would get really upset with us because we never scheduled him for really big weekends. And so on the really big weekends, we would schedule him for stuff like a kazoo,
Like kazoo.
or
Kazoo.
pre-service.
Slide whistle?
Yeah,
Slide
exactly,
whistle.
exactly.
Slide whistle. Yes. Oh my goodness. All right. No, you've been very gracious.
Absolutely.
How'd I do?
That's what
You
she
did
does.
great. You
That's
did
what
great.
she
I
does.
was impressed. I thought that the piano, piano is hammers and keys,
Yeah.
and,
Right.
and this is kind of right up your
Kind
alley.
of the same thing.
All right, so go back because you quickly glossed over the piano performance degree. So
Yes.
my wife, I met in college. She was a piano performance major. I know how hard it is to stay in that practice room
Yeah.
for like 7 or 8 hours a day and practice music from dead men who wrote this stuff.
Right.
Yep.
And then you go and you do a recital, and I don't know if you did multiple my wife's, it was like one night and then you were done. And she even did one of the recitals. She was pregnant with our first kid.
Wow.
Which
Oh,
is
wow.
a whole event,
Yes.
kind of thing. So, do you feel like that prepared you for like some hard work and digging in and think like? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it did. When I went into it, I didn't know
Right.
what to expect, but I knew it was going to be hard. And I
Yeah.
knew that it was going to prepare me for, musically
Right.
and like in my skills and everything, but I didn't anticipate the like mental toughness
Anguish.
and that it would create in me. So yeah, I think it did. And I'm grateful for that. I feel like it gave me some independence too,
Yeah.
just because I didn't have
Yeah.
anybody. I went from Minnesota to California. I went to Biola University. So it's
Okay.
like I was
Yeah.
out there all by myself.
Right.
And which now as a parent, I'm like, what were you
What were you thinking? Like, why? That was
Send me to LA.
that was a horrible decision.
Oh, man.
And they were like, we trusted you. I'm like, yeah, I guess, but
That's awesome.
but it did. It taught me independence, and it also brought me closer to the Lord because I didn't have anybody
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And I think that's right where the Lord wanted me.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like I just wanted to be you and me, and you don't have anybody else to be your security or your comfort or anything. And I think that's what got me through, because some of it was really hard and
Yeah.
it was really stressful and competitive, and lots of pressure.
Yes.
Lots of pressure to perform.
Yes.
And I think if I could go back and do it again, I would say, just chill out, Andrea.
Right.
It's not, I mean, it's not. Of course you want to do well and
Right.
steward that time well.
Yeah.
Right.
But I wish that I would have enjoyed it a little bit more.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep.
All right, so we have one more song, Brian. You picked this one.
Okay.
Did you do a good job?
I don't remember what it is.
Oh, no.
Actually, you did a very good job. This is a great tune. So I don't know about the arrangement, so you gotta decide, but this is your tune.
I don't even know what it is yet.
Thank you for the
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Another Darlene.
Yeah.
She's just amazing.
Like, there's a Mount Rushmore for worship leaders.
Darlene.
Darlene's on there. I mean,
Yes. Yes. This song is just like, man, another tearjerker. Like, it takes you back. We did this a lot in our church when I first started leading worship. Not for the faint of heart, though, vocally.
Yes, right. Well, nothing simple.
No.
I'm excited about where worship music is right now, but this era that where this song comes from was so special. And I can remember the first time I heard Shout to the Lord, and I said to Kim, no church will ever sing this.
Oh,
it's
really?
too complicated.
Wow.
The's so many words. It's got a bridge and a chorus and verses. And well, it shows you what I knew back then, especially. But what a great, what a great time for worship music. And it was that, churches were coming through the battle. Are we going to be a hymns church? Are we going to be a worship song or choruses church? Or are we going to be a blended church? So we kind of make everyone mad. Like what are we
make no one happy?
What are we going to be? And then all this incredible music starts.
Did you ever see Darlene in concert, Brian?
No, I didn't. I've never either. I would love to meet her. I'd love to have her on the podcast. I'd love to sit under her leadership. I mean,
it'd be awesome.
Mercy. Did you ever see Andrea? Did you?
No, I never did. No, we were talking with her though, like back in 2018, 2019. I was trying to coordinate one of her U.S. visits with an overflow conference.
Oh wow!
And they're just the sweetest people, great team, so kind and responsive and thoughtful, and it didn't end up working out, but not yet anyway.
Overflow Australia.
That's right.
There we go.
There we go.
I feel like we can make that happen.
You guys are in, right?
All right,
Absolutely.
we're down.
Okay.
If we're in Australia and we're doing that, I'm good.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Cool.
Well, Brian.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
We've already had a lot of good moments, but there's one better
I've
moment.
anticipated this moment.
You have. All right, go for it, sir.
So, you've been on the pod a couple of times. We end every interview with the big room question. Since we're mobile, we call it the big bus question.
I like it.
For
Get it?
karaoke.
I get it.
Yeah. All right.
So, like, if we had a
We're
big
smart.
giant bus full of worship leaders and all their volunteers and production leaders and all their volunteers, and we gave you that, like, speaker thing at the front, like, what would you want to say to that group of people about what we do in the local church?
Man, lately this phrase has been resonating like in my heart, and it's just, I don't know, it's in my heart for leaders, and I say it a lot, and it's that what we do on Sundays, week in, week out, throughout the week, working with people, leading worship, what we do is impacting the future of worship in the church. And I don't think that I always thought about that when I was doing it every single week,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because you're like in it, head down, and
tunnel
like,
vision a
hey,
little bit,
we got to get this done, which is true because Sunday's always coming.
Always.
But when we take a step back and we zoom out and we realize that we are impacting the future of worship in the church. And what do I mean by that? Well, like, we don't know who's in the congregation. We don't know what God is calling them to. We don't know what God has for them. And you don't know, like, if you were poring over scripture, if you were poring over the set list that week, and something that you said was impactful to them, right? Sure. But also that we are a part of leading the next generation. And so it is our duty as leaders to not just be a one man or one woman show, but to bring up people with us and alongside of us, so that when we're gone, there's still people that are leading. So we are impacting the future of worship in the church. And I just think that that's a powerful reminder for us, to give us fuel of like, hey, I get to be a part of something that's so much bigger than one Sunday, and it's so much bigger than me. And every time I like go and help with a youth band or something like that, or like I helped our church get their youth band back going again, and now my daughter leads. There it's like, okay, if I do nothing else, that's it.
That's success.
Because now they're passionate and they're excited and they're, learning what worship is. And so that's what I would say, is that you get to be a part of something so big, and you get to impact the future of worship in the church.
What a great reminder, man.
Oh, yeah.
And how that helps your local congregation, as well as, maybe these kids go away to college, or they land in some other city when they start their lives and get married or whatever, and they take with them what they've learned from you. And man, don't be afraid to pour into those young folks, man, for sure.
Well, and also I love the fact that, like, Overflow, you use the word newly positioned leader, right? Like, I feel like there's a large turnover in worship and in tech in the church, and if we don't tailor what we're teaching people towards like that mentorship, especially to somebody who's brand new, I think we're going to end up not retaining a lot of worship leaders, and I think we're going to end up burning people out quicker because there isn't that emphasis, I feel like, on mentorship. At least that's what I'm seeing. So I love the fact that you're actually like going after that person who is new in that small to medium-sized church, because I feel like that's most of the churches in America. Like, I would love to say I had a church that I was at where we had 20 million staff members in worship, and we don't. Everybody was a volunteer, and everybody was doing their level best. And they just needed some help. So that's pretty awesome.
Thank you. It's a really cool thing that God is doing. It's an honor to be a part of, and that's one of the reasons, like exactly what you're saying, is why we also have started to like come alongside of the churches and the senior pastors too, and say like, hey, how can we help you with your new worship leader? And so that's what we do at Overflow Worship Leaders Online, is we help them. And so it's not like, sometimes we start with the worship leader, but sometimes we start with the church, and they're like, hey, we got a new leader. Like, could you help us? And that's what we love to do, because like you say, then there will be longevity, hopefully, in their position, not only maybe at that church, but like in their lives in ministry.
Well, and it's easy to criticize. Oh, we know that. Like, having been in ministry for years and years and years, it's easier to criticize than it is to help build people up. So it's awesome.
So, okay, Andrea Olson Music is a social.
Yep.
Overflow
Worship Official.
Overflow Worship Official.
Yep.
And then you've got the Worship Leaders Online.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What am I missing?
Those are the three.
Those are the three. And then the web address
it's just 3.
is...
If you hit overflowworship.com, it'll guide you where you want to go. You just click the button you want.
Yeah, and you guys go check out. Andrea's making a huge impact.
Yes.
And we just absolutely love her heart and the heart of her organization. They're making a tremendous impact. So we love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And Brian, I know you kind of said she was good. She's great.
She's great.
He undersold it. She's awesome.
Great.
So
she's absolutely great.
Well, Andrew, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
So guys, listen, this has been another episode of Worship Karaoke. If you loved Andrea and you love this episode, please go and subscribe on YouTube and watch more of these, because they are awesome. And I have fun doing them. Brian, you have fun doing them?
We have a blast.
Andrew, you're going to come back?
This was a blast.
All right, she's going to come back. I mean, we drove around and we had fun with music and songs and instruments, and we didn't crash into anything.
Didn't crash
so that's
into
always
anything.
a plus.
We didn't get lost.
Yeah, but we didn't get
one
lost.
person got mad at you and honked
Only
at you.
one.
Only
one.
But we love them and God loves them, and that's okay.
Up and to the right, man. That's what we're looking for.
All right, guys, and that is it for Worship Karaoke. So we're just going to end by saying, see you later. Peace.
Deuces.
You got to say something cool.
Oh, something cool? That's
Yeah.
a lot of pressure.
That works.
Bye.
Bye.